Everything you have been dreaming of is preparing to surface all at once and with total ease. This is happening because you finally understand the underlying mechanics of your reality. You have seen firsthand that the constant struggle and the exhausted hustle are actually just old stories we were told to believe. They are limiting patterns woven into us by a society that values effort over alignment. But you are waking up to a deeper truth, one that feels much more natural to your spirit. You are discovering that there is a more authentic way to exist, a path that feels like a homecoming rather than a battle. When you finally touch that core of true power and creativity within yourself, you realize that your potential is actually limitless. This isn't a distant goal but a presence that is available right here in this moment. You are beginning to remember that creating your life can be so much simpler than we were ever taught. If these words resonate with you, it is because you have already felt that spark. You have experienced those moments where being in sync with your true nature allows magic to unfold. In those spaces, things happen instantly, often in ways that are far better than anything you could have planned or even predicted. This awakening is simply your true nature coming online, reminding you that everything is interconnected. In this state of pure imagination and potential, the things you desire don't need to be chased. They manifest before you because you are no longer trying to overcompensate for old doubts or outdated beliefs. You are standing in a space where vision becomes reality without the need for strain. By letting go of the idea that you must earn your joy through suffering, you open the door for every dream to walk right in and take its place in your life. The only thing truly standing between you and your desires is the old programming telling you that greatness must be difficult to attain. These inherited beliefs act like a fog, causing us to get in our own way and blocking the immediate feeling of the reality we want to inhabit. You are learning that you don't have to wait for the world to change before you can embody the version of yourself that is already successful and fulfilled. This version of you exists right now, and the primary tool for reaching it is your own imagination. It is the very foundation of your creative power. If an inspired thought or a deep desire enters your mind, it is there because you already have access to that reality. You simply would not be able to recognize or crave that specific vision if it were not already a potential you are capable of reaching. The real secret lies in the depth of your feeling. When you allow yourself to truly feel into the experience of that manifested world, you begin to relate to it as a present fact rather than a distant hope. The more you allow yourself to mentally and emotionally live in that end result, the more tangible and real that vision becomes to your entire being. If this shift in perspective is resonating with your journey, feel free to join our community by subscribing for more insights and sharing your thoughts in the comments below about what you are currently calling into your reality. Once you have fully embraced that internal vision, the final step is simply letting go and stepping forward with a quiet, steady conviction. This means moving through your day without the heavy weight of expectation or the demand that things must happen at a specific time or in a specific way. Instead, you operate from an internal knowing that the work is already done. As the conscious creator of your life, this is the most powerful posture you can possibly maintain. You are no longer dependent on outside circumstances to provide your happiness because you already carry the fulfillment within your own heart. When you move through the world with that certainty at your core, you become truly unstoppable. When you hold that certainty in your heart, life has no choice but to reflect your internal knowing back to you. It is a powerful realization that can be distilled into a simple, three-part journey. The very first step is gaining absolute clarity on what you want while grounding yourself in your true nature. When you recognize that you are made of pure possibility, you understand that the old ways of struggle and hustle are no longer required. Your only task is to tap into that potential and bring the vividness of your waking dream to life. Placing yourself right at the center of it until you feel it in your bones. By fully immersing yourself in that vision, you begin to identify the version of yourself that already lives in that world. You start to become familiar with their habits, their thoughts, their relationships, and their entire way of being. This is the foundation of identity, seeing the lifestyle and the internal state that are congruent with your desired reality. Once you identify that version of you, the second step is alignment. This is where you bridge the gap between who you are now and who you are becoming by aligning your current habits and feelings with that future self. Alignment is the art of bringing your future into the present moment. You do this by embodying that successful, fulfilled version of yourself right here and now, moving forward with a quiet faith that requires no immediate proof. When you live from this space of conviction, you can finally let go of the desperate need for evidence or symbols to appear before you believe it is possible. You no longer wait for the world to show you a sign because you have already become the person who knows it is true. This shift in posture allows you to walk through life with a grace that the old way of struggling could never provide. When you possess that internal security and stability, you have found true faith. This conviction allows you to finally release all attachments, assumptions, and heavy expectations. This leads into the third and most vital stage, manifestation. There is so much misinformation out there suggesting that manifestation is a skill you need to acquire, but the truth is simpler. You are already manifesting every single moment of your life. The real question is whether you are doing it consciously and deliberately. To master this process is to realize that you aren't trying to make something happen but rather clearing out the interferences that have been blocking what is already yours. The journey is really about cleaning up the limiting beliefs and the concepts of lack that have become so familiar they feel like your actual identity. When you understand that your world is simply a projection of who you believe yourself to be, you regain the power to create effortlessly. You no longer have to work twice as hard to overcome those old stories of struggle. Often, we overcompensate with hard work because it feels safer to follow the crowd than to step out and be different. Yet, the path to your desires is simply about coming into alignment with your essence, recognizing your vision and removing the mental clutter that suggests life must be difficult. You are the absolute source of your shift and the sole creator of your reality. While you are free to buy into the programs of society that suggest you must settle or struggle, you are under no obligation to do so. As the designer of your experience, you can choose to believe in a world that works in your favor. There is no reason to compromise or tolerate anything less than what your heart knows is possible. When you stop settling, you start living the version of life that was always meant for you. You have the power to make it exactly as you want it to be, starting right now. To help you go deeper into this process and clear out those internal interferences, I have created a free self-inquiry workbook designed to guide you back to your true power, and you can find the link to download your copy right here.